Welcome to the New Author Podcast, a weekly podcast diary starring Jerry Evanoff and Rich Casey. Join them weekly as they talk about writing, publishing, and marketing their books. And now, here are your hosts.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the New Author Podcast. Today is Friday, August 14th, 2026. Rich, it's episode number 363. I am one of the hosts of this podcast, Jerry Evanoff, and with me, as he's every week, in his alter ego, this week as Mario Puzo. Is that the Godfather guy?
Yeah.
Is that who wrote the... Okay. Is Rich Casey. And Rich, how are you?
I'm getting ready to kill somebody. No,
Oh, nice. Nice.
Getting ready to kill some characters off. No, I'm doing well. I mean, I think I've finally fully pretty much recovered, at least physically, from being ill the other week. That hasn't helped my writing much because, well, I'll talk about it in a minute. But yeah, and it's hotter than snot here. It's like, it is like 95 plus air temperature and well over 110 every single day for as far as the eye can see. It is. We're just.
Is there an end in sight, or are we?
No.
Like, when does winter start for you? Like December?
Yeah, there is no end in sight at the moment. We can't. I mean, in a typical year, we really can't expect a break in the weather until sometime in October.
Okay.
So, but hopefully it will back off a little bit. But right now we have this big heat dome over the top of us, and it's just not going anywhere.
Yeah, it's been pretty good here. We're in the 80s, so it's been pretty good here, which is nice.
Yeah. The only good thing is that we did have some rain about a week ago, which has kept things kind of alive. But my water bill has gone up, maybe 30%, just because we've got drip irrigation on everything and trying to keep all the plants alive. But yeah, I mean, it's typical living in the South.
Yeah, it's been in it's 79 right now. It's been in the mid 80s all week, and we had rain Tuesday, and it was kind of humid on Tuesday, but it's been pretty nice since then. So it's it's August, but we're kind of starting to get down the hill a little bit in terms of the temperatures. We had a really hot June or July, so hopefully in August is usually our hottest month. So hopefully we can kind of back off a little bit with the heat.
I have real sympathy for all those people in Europe who are experiencing the same temperature basically we are down here, but they do not have aircon at all. So
yeah,
we've even had, there's a lot of people, because Louisiana is there's a lot of severe income inequality, and it's even Baton Rouge probably has, well over 30% of the population is below the poverty line. And there's a lot of people that don't have air conditioning here, and they're in the libraries, they're in any public space that has air conditioning during the day.
Yeah,
because they're just dying.
I don't know how they sleep at night. Like, I can't sleep at night here.
Yeah, they don't, and that's so we're basically, normally if you're sleeping in the library, we would have to wake you up and stuff. But we've just been turning a blind eye to that because we know it's the only place people can cool off during the day.
Yeah. Well, I had a pretty normal week for me lately. Now, it's second week of the new job, which is, I mean, it's going well. I'm pretty happy with it so far, and still getting my Fridays, but now I've got actual vacation days I can take. So it's been good. And, the writing, I think I said last week that if you look at my pattern over the last 3 or 4 weeks, it's basically Friday, Saturday, Sunday, lots of stuff writing wise. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, nothing at all. And that's because I'm working from home and I'm trying to get used to that. And I'll talk about that a little later, how I'm going to try to get around that. It's almost like, at the beginning of every year, I talk about goals and having to come up with a writing schedule. And then I find one, and then for whatever reason it changes, and it's just changed for me. And I got to work on that again. So we'll talk about that later, but yeah.
Okay. So, did you actually do some writing though, or?
Yeah, I did actually. Okay. I did, instead of only 3 days, I did 4 days.
Okay.
I did yesterday also. So yeah, so we're getting there. It's getting closer. Okay. We're getting there. Yeah. So let me jump into my stats here. So book 3, I've started editing book 3 now. So I'm on the first revision, or it's considered, it's the first revision, right? You have the first draft and the first revision is where I'm at. And I'm through the first 4 chapters right now. The goal is to get through the first 3. And I did succeed at that. I kind of cheated a little bit. And then the second part of the goal was to submit book 1 to BookBub. And I actually failed. I mean, it takes 2 seconds and I just haven't done it yet. And I really want to sit down and try to work out, if I were to submit it, Monday, I'm trying to time it up with my release of book 3, which is in, 5 months or whatever it is. So if I wait, maybe I'll wait 2 months before I submit it again, or maybe I'll submit book 2 And if it gets turned down, it gets turned down. I won't worry about it too much, although I think I might have already done that. So yeah, I'm trying to time it right with the November 24th release so that I can do a Kindle Daily Countdown on book 1 on the same day that book 3 is released. Is kind of what I'm trying to do. But again, I'm in my editing through book 4, chapter 4 right now of the editing, and book 3 is up 1,137 words as I'm doing this editing. Word count for the year stayed the same, no new words, 53,515, which already broke my goal, so I'm pretty happy about that. And then words per hour is also the same because no new words, 1315 per hour is where I'm at. And I'll talk about how I kind of cheated to succeed at my goal when I get to my weekly recap.
Okay. Let me ask you a question about your stories, because I ran into this during the week. I didn't really write at all this week. I opened up the files of The Dark We Hide a couple of times and decided that although I like the story, I don't like the characters. In particular, I don't like the way the protagonist, the way I set her up as an inside person in the police department. It just is straining me to see how the police would treat her with any kind of respect or anything when she's trying to get involved in a murder and stuff. And I know you had kind of the same problem or the same issue where you've got an amateur interacting with the police. So how do you get around that? What did you do in order to make that interaction seem believable?
So the one thing I tried to do was in book 1, book 1, I basically had one of the police officers take a liking to my main character. And it was a woman, and she just kind of took a liking. I had a male that couldn't stand him. It almost reminded me of Psych, where Sean is the main character of Psych, and the main police officer, I forget the character's name, doesn't like him, and he kind of picks at that guy. And that's kind of the relationship they have. And then the female character kind of likes him a little bit, so that he gets along with her more. So in the first book, I had him get along with the woman character, the woman police officer. I had him do something early on so that she kind of understands, hey, maybe he's kind of smart, or maybe he kind of saw something we did. And I did that really early. It's my own version of Save the Cat, basically, where I had him do something to kind of get into her good graces very early on. And then she almost became like the mentor figure who was teaching him a little bit, and the male character still hated him, but by the end of it, when the male character realized he fixed it, he just kind of gave him a nod of respect type of thing is what I did. When I got to book 2, this is where I got to the actual police officer who's going to be with him throughout most of the series. There'll be some stories that take place in other places, but when he's in Savannah, there's one cop there, and that was a big deal because C, when she was editing book 2, she said you can't have your main character be smarter than the police, or you can't have the police just accept him in there. There's got to be tension at first. There's got to be a lot of tension at first. So in my book 2, I have the character, the guy who's going to Beaumont. He's going to be the guy who's kind of his friend later on. Really reads in the riot act early on. He arrests him early on. He doesn't put up with his crap early on. And then about halfway through the book, when Sam brings him something that he didn't see, it kind of turns a little bit. And by the end of it, Beaumont's kind of like, okay, I'm going to let you do this denouement. I'm not putting up with your crap, but I'm going to let you do this. And I think he even says, if this goes wrong, we got problems, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And then, so book 3, he's not in it. Book 4 is where it's going to open with Beaumont questioning him about a murder that happens at the end of book 3. And while he's there, Beaumont's going to ask him, by the way, I got a question. Can you help me out with something? I don't know how I'm going to say it yet, because I'm not sure if I'm to the point where they're friends yet, but I think it had to be a lot slower of a relationship build than what I was making. I was making it really fast. Okay. And C said, you can't do this. You can't, the police would never, ever do that. And I was talking to Dan from my writers group who has been working in the Youngstown police he's not a cop, but he works in the police station for a long time. And he told me the same thing when I was reading different chapters early on with book 2. He said, no, police would never do that. They would never treat a civilian as one of them, or they would never give him the leeway that your cops are giving Sam. You've got to change that. So I really did my best early on to make it almost antagonistic, almost like Beaumont was one of the a minor antagonists toward him, keeping him from doing things that he wanted to do to investigate, until finally, I kind of like the idea of it being the save the cat moment where Sam kind of did something that made him go, okay, maybe he's got something here, that kind of thing. And that, I don't know if I answered your question, but that's kind of where I was.
No, you did. Because I think the way I set my story up with the protagonist already being on the inside of the police department, although she was a civilian, I kind of tried to skirt all of that. And I think that meant, but that might have been a problem. Maybe I shouldn't have done that because you lose a lot of, I guess you lose a lot of rationale of why they are allowing her to get so involved. There's no backstory there. So could
you work backstory in? I don't know if you're big on flashbacks, but could you work backstory in? Could you do a series of flashbacks that not only show how she got to that situation, but also kind of parallel with whatever she's trying to help them with?
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm not sure how you are on flashbacks. Some people don't like them.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, flashbacks are fine with me as long as they're used judiciously.
Yeah.
So I don't mind them when I'm reading. But yeah, I'm gonna have to think about how to do this because I guess I need some more rationale for why she's able to do the things that she does, and be as close to the investigation as she is, and that's yeah. So, anyways, while I was going back and looking at doing some editing on the first chapter, I just realized some of this just doesn't really seem too believable.
Right.
So I'm gonna have to work on that. So that's basically all I did in the last 6 days or whatever.
All right, well, jumping into my recap. I think this is going to be a shorter podcast because I didn't write every day and you haven't written much. So I think we're going to be a little bit shorter today. I know we have some stuff at the end to talk about that, which is good. So last Friday, again, we're going to recognize a pattern here that will break, but we're going to recognize a pattern here. So last Friday, we podcasted Thursday. Last Friday, because of the extra hours I worked throughout the weekend, I'm doing 9, 8, 9, 9, which equals 35. And that means I only have to work 5 hours on Friday. So I'm working 7 to 12 on Friday. I'll do that all through the month of August, up through Labor Day, up through the Monday, the week before Labor Day, I'll do that. So maybe the next 3 or 4 weeks, I'll do that. And I left at noon, went to Buffalo Wild Wings to start. This is where I started the first revision. Began with chapter 1, although I did already do that one because I read it to the Writers Club last month. But I ended up spending more time with it than I thought. I did make some changes based on what the Writers Club people said to me. I also made my own changes, added some words to it. And that's the only thing I did. That's the only chapter I worked on, even though I felt like I'd already done it. That's the only chapter I worked on. Came home to play my football game, relaxed a little, and then I had a very early bedtime because I was up around 5 a.m. to golf. There were 3 of us this time. And just like the last few weeks, I struggled on the first 7, which are the easiest ones. And then I turned it around and shot an 86, which has become my kind of average, my line that I'm trying to break. When I first started golfing that course back before all my lessons and everything, I always wanted to break 100. And over the last couple of years, okay, I'm getting decent at this. Let me start breaking 90. And I've been getting into the 80. I think I have maybe 1 round or 2 rounds above 90 this whole year there. So the numbers kind of moved to where I'm trying to break 86 each week. And I actually got an 86 on the dot on Saturday.
Okay.
Came home and stayed local. Went to the sub place. The thing about staying local that I like is that it saves me the 25 minutes driving each way. Sure. So if I'm looking at okay, it's 11:30, and if I leave now, I write until noon. I'm there for a couple hours, and then I have a half an hour drive home. But now I can get there at 11:30, just start writing after I eat, and then I can stay for 2.5 hours and still get back to the house around the same time. Mm-hmm. So it works out really, really well. The first thing I did though while I was eating was I did pay for another 3 years of ChemiCloud as my web host, which
okay.
I remember I kept seeing $760 is what it was going to cost me for 3 more years. I think I paid a couple $100. When you first sign up the very first time, there's always a deal. But they emailed me and said, hey, listen, $434 right now, discounted down by $330, and you can renew. It was due in December, end of December is when it was due. So 5 months early, 5 months early, 4 months, whatever it is, 4 months or 5 months early, they were getting me a discount. And in the email, it literally said, as you wait longer, it goes up and up a little bit until you get to the end when it's $760. So I like them. I've got a lot of stuff there. I'm starting to use and I'll talk about this a little bit later in my Addicted to It, I'm starting to use the free databases that I get through them instead of that Supabase that I've been using.
Right.
Because I am like deep into writing apps right now with Claude. I mean, it's getting a little bit weird, which I'll talk about later. But so I went ahead and I paid the $434, and I'm good now through 12/29 with my author website and my what do you call it? My 7-4 Press website, and then all the websites I'm building kind of that are sub websites. Like the writing app is there too. So
that was for 3 years.
Yeah, it was for another 3 years, but it doesn't start until December of this year. So I'm good through the next 4 months or 5 months, whatever December is. That 5 months from now? And yeah, whatever it is, 4 months from now. And then it goes 3 years from there. So actually I'm good until December 2029.
I mean,
so,
you break it down by month, it's like $12 a month.
So. $12 a month. Yeah, I did the math. I was like, God, that's so expensive. And I did the math. I'm like, oh, it's $12 a month. I would pay that just monthly if that was okay. So I was happy with that.
I think that's roughly what I'm paying for HostGator too.
Yeah. Yeah. Then I worked on the revision of chapter 2. I got some ideas for my writer's app as I was working on chapter 2, which is what's been happening now. Every time I use it, is I get more ideas. I put them in my task board, and then I come home, or over the next couple of days, like Sunday morning when I'm not ready to go to golf, or when I'm not going to lunch yet and I'm not golfing, I'll sit for an hour and make all these changes to it. And I love it. It's such a blast. In the evening, I finished the football game that I was playing, and I played the second half. And then I was back at my computer just kind of messing around with programs I've been working on, which we'll talk about later. And then I was back in bed early because, again, next day up at 5, it's so funny. I talked about how this new job, getting up at the same time every day because I'm not going into the office anymore, was going to help me regulate my sleep. And then I get up at between 5:30 and 6:30 because I just wake up throughout the week. And then I get up at 5 a.m. Saturday and Sunday. It's not going to make it any easier for me to sleep in next week when I'm doing this. So
no.
Yeah. So I was by myself on this day. I got there around 6:20. What's funny is I do not remember this round at all. I don't even remember that I golfed Sunday. That was like 5 days ago. I have no idea that I golfed Sunday. But I did shoot an 85, which was nice. I don't remember it. I don't really remember what happened during it. I can't tell. I know I birdied so the longest hole in the course in the back nine is 540 yards. And I usually get near it in 3 and try to get on in 4 and then putt. And I actually hit 3 really good shots in a row, down the middle, down to the left side. And then from like 160, I put it on the green. And not only was it on the green, but it rolled to the back and the hole was in the back. Which,
wow.
Usually if the hole's in the back, I hit the front.
Right.
And I made the putt for a birdie on that hole, which was exciting. So,
and probably the reason you don't remember it because there was nobody there to talk about it with.
Yes, that's the worst thing about it. Nobody said nice shot to me at all. It was so depressing. So I came home around 9:30. Again, it only took me like 2 hours. I was home by 9:30. So I was waiting for lunch stuff to open. So they don't open till 11. So I can't leave until around 10:30. And I added a new feature to my writing app. Actually, what I did was I changed an old feature. I used to have something in the writing app called the mystery board, which was for like putting in clues and suspect stuff and things like that. I changed it to just be open threads so that while I'm editing, this is one thing that I really struggle with. I don't even know how important this is. I don't know if people like, did Agatha Christie do this? Did the people that write murder mysteries now do this? Probably not. But I don't know if it's just I like doing it or I need to do it. I'm not sure. But like if my character says something, just a simple line that I think to myself, oh, I got to pay that off later. I got to record it somewhere or I won't pay it off. So I created this little section now. So up in the upper right-hand corner where the drawers are, the AI drawer, the edit the chapter drawer, and all those drawers are, there's now one that says, I believe it says open threads. And if you open that, you can literally just click, you can highlight a section in the text, click open threads or click new, whatever it is. And it loads up a little modal that has, you can put a description there and a title, and then you should save it. It's just over there. And you can put whether it was resolved or not. And it's just over there. So if you open that, there's a list. It's just a simple list, nothing exciting. I think I colored it green if you've completed it, and it doesn't color all if you didn't. So you can get a quick look at what you've completed and what you haven't. So I added that in, and I have been using that, which has worked out really well. I love the fact that I can just say, hey, Claude, do this for me. And in an hour, it's done. Like I would never do this if I knew, okay, I got to come home and do this. It's going to take me 6 hours. I'm not doing this. Right. But the fact that I can just tell Claude to do it is amazing. So again, it's going to put me out of a job sometime. So I might as well enjoy the ride on the way. So I added that. Then I was off to Hothead, except much like the last few weeks, there's road construction on the highway. So I got off the highway early. And as I drive past the Buffalo Wild Wings, my car just turns left into there instead. I don't know how it happens. And as I sat there eating wings and fries, I worked on chapter 3. So this was this is how I cheated. Is I basically took the two scenes that were in chapter 2. I separated them and made the second scene the new chapter 3, and it's short.
Okay.
It's like 600 words. So I edited that on Sunday and then told myself, yay, I got my goal done. I'm through 3 chapters. Well, technically I was through 2 chapters, 3 scenes, but since I separated them, now I'm through 3 chapters. I kind of cheated a little bit. But I was able to finish it before leaving, which was great. Monday I worked from home, nothing at lunch, but I did finish playing my first. On Sunday I started playing my first 1949 AAFC game between who the heck did I play? I don't even remember now. San Francisco and Chicago, I think it was.
So what's the AA stand for?
It's the All-American football.
Oh, All-American.
It's not. It wasn't. They merged into the NFL. The Cleveland, New York, Baltimore, and Buffalo, I think, merged into the NFL the following year.
Okay.
The other 3 teams, I think, just went away. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, I think that's right. So it wasn't technically the NFL. The Browns won the championship there. We call it the Browns championship, but it wasn't an NFL championship. It wasn't a Super Bowl. But as a Browns fan, you got to latch on to whatever you can get.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So I played the first half on Sunday night, and I played the second half on Monday. I worked from home. Again, nothing at lunch. So we get into that pattern of nothing at lunch. But I did finish playing. I played the second half that evening, and that was me trying to. It was like 6:45, and I was like on the couch, and I'm like, God, do I really want to sit here at 8:00? I'll be falling asleep. So I'm going to play my game. So I came back here, and I don't know if I can do this. If you're watching the video, I don't think I can do this. I think I tried it before, and it stopped me recording. But I have the game set up right now. I got the Browns set up in front of me now to play probably tomorrow. And it's like 6:45 in the evening. I'm like, I'll play. It's going to take me an hour and a half to play a half. So I sat here and I played until about 8:15 and went in the other room and edited it and posted it on YouTube. It was like 8:30, 8:45. I'm like, yes, I did it. I was able to stay up later. And then I went to the couch and was falling asleep, and I was in bed before 10, which is what I don't want to do, but I do. Yeah. So Tuesday I worked from home, again, nothing at lunch. Then I drove up to the golf course for our golf league. It was weird because it was raining the whole way. The radar looked horrendous. I was in the last group. I got there in the rain. It was raining, and we teed off, and it was raining, and you could hear thunder over the lake. And we kept playing, and right around we already hit our shots on the first hole. We're up at the top of the hill on the first hole after hitting one shot, and we start seeing guys in the league coming back. They're like, we're done. We're not playing anymore. We're like, it's gonna stop. No, it's gonna rain for another hour and a half. Well, it didn't. 3 groups quit, but we just kept going. And 10 minutes later, it stopped raining. The thunder stopped maybe a half an hour later. There was no lightning. No lightning that we could see. I think if there's thunder, there's lightning, right? Doesn't one cause the other?
Yeah, well, yes. Yeah, the thunder is a result of lightning.
Yeah, thunder's the sound the lightning makes or whatever. Yeah. So they didn't call us in, which, I asked the guy, Tim, who he's a starter.
I'm surprised at that, because usually when there's thunder, they would start calling people in.
We didn't, which was nice. So, but what's nice is that it was just like, it wasn't raining anymore. It was just out over the lake. It was going north of us, right? The rain was south of us. The thunder was out north of us, and you could see it on the radar. It was yellow out north of us over the lake, over Lake Erie. And so about a half an hour later, it all stopped, and we played the rest of the way. I was terrible. I think I shot a 50. I lost my match 16-4. My buddy who I play with, he lost his match 15-5. So as a team, we lost 31-9, but we're like near the bottom. We can't really go much further down anyway. We're not very good this year. And the problem with that course, I shot a 50. The problem with that course is I hate it. Number 1. Number 2, the rough is like, if you don't let you don't cut your grass for a couple days, and it gets thick, right? It's right. Really hard to swing a club through it, but then you make it wet too. And it's awful. And there were so many shots where I would swing a little harder and my club would just stop in the rough, because I don't hit the ball. I'm not good. I don't hit the ball in the fairway every time. So, and if you Google top 10 courses in Ohio, that one course is always in the top 5, and it's such a big lie.
It's anyway, almost like links play.
I like the only time I ever played links is when we were in Scotland, and I played 2 courses, and I had a blast. But this is awful. I just can't stand this course. We have 2 weeks left. I'm so glad we only have 2 weeks left. Plus driving up there, I didn't mind it so much when I was driving to the office, and then it was 20 minutes straight east. Right. Now it's an hour straight north through. I can't stand 271 in Cleveland. It's just an awful road to drive in during rush hour. So, anyway, I got home around 9:30 or 9:15 or whatever, and then went to bed not too long after that. Wednesday, I was I wrote in the office. That's weird. I wasn't in the office. I was working from home. Let's just change that. We can't make that mistake again.
You're in your new office.
Yeah, I don't work in the office anymore. Working from home. There we go. Nothing at lunch again. Third straight day, nothing at lunch. After lunch, I put in my first vacation request with the new company. Not only are we accruing vacation, which is what we do now. That's what you do, right? We talked about this. Yeah. So I'm accruing right now. I can't use it for 90 days, but I'm accruing right now. But they did carry over our vacation days that we had left from the old job. So I had 7 days still available from the old job that I have to use by the end of the year. That gets canceled at the end of the year. But it's there anytime I want it. So I actually put in my first vacation request. I took the 4 days after Labor Day off. So I'll have the whole week off. I haven't had a week off 10 years. Like I'm always taking 1 or 2 or 3 days, but never a whole week.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty excited about this.
The best part of this library job is that, and I didn't think it was going to be like this because I was told you can't take any days off for the first 6 months because you're on a 6-month probation period. I didn't realize I was accruing vacation and sick time all during that time. So,
I didn't know either. Yeah.
1 day after 6 months, I suddenly had like 24 days of time off. So,
right.
Yeah,
it's great. So that's our November 1st. I'll have like 13 days. Wait, no, not 13 days. A bunch of hours. I don't know. We do it by hours. I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
But, so anyway, that happened on Wednesday. Again, no plans to go anywhere or do anything. I don't even know what I'm going to do that day. It'll just be a bunch of Saturdays. I'll like golf and then I'll come home and write and then I'll play my games, or I'll go write, come home and play my games and sit at my computer. There's nothing special about these. I do have fantasy drafts 2 of those nights so far, which is nice. I'll probably schedule another one too. Football starts on Wednesday night that week, which is, I don't really like, but that's what they're doing. So yesterday I worked from home and I ended up working through my lunch as we had a production issue that I was trying to figure out. After work, I ended up just skipping my writer's club. I just didn't go. I didn't feel like going. I had nothing to read. I didn't really want to read any of the chapters I'd edited so far. I didn't want to put the time into editing something to read for them. I just didn't go. So right around 5:30, I actually, about 5:30, I ended up leaving my house and I went to the Sub Place local and I just wrote. I worked on editing. I edited chapter 3, which was a big one. I did get through the first scene and I stopped. So technically, I guess if you want to go by the letter of what I said last week on my goal, get through the first 3 chapters, I wasn't there yet, even though I was on chapter 4 because I split chapter 2.
Right.
So you had texted me, I think on Wednesday, and said, well, you can't podcast yesterday. So I was like, oh, sweet, I got another day. So today I worked until noon again. And I went to Buffalo Wild Wings again. And this is where I actually finished chapter 4 until it was finished. Well, this is old chapter 3. So I kind of did finish 3 chapters by the next time we podcast. It worked out okay. It was funny because then right as I was wrapping it up, I was listening to a guy in the booth behind me talking to his neighbor about a tree that fell into his neighbor's yard. I heard him call his insurance company and I heard him say, okay, so I'm not responsible. And I was like, uh-oh. And then I heard him call the neighbor. I'm like, the balls of this guy, I wouldn't be able to do that. Like, good for him for just calling and saying, hey, by the way, you're responsible for that. And then he's like, before you get mad, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come over. I'll get the tree out of there. I'll give you some money toward your shed. But in terms of, cleaning whatever up, taking the tree down, that's on you guys. And you could hear like tension that was quiet. Like you could hear, they weren't yelling, but you could hear the tension in his voice. I couldn't hear the person on the other line, but you could just tell that it wasn't, pleasant conversation. I heard him at one point say, I've been living here since 54 years. I've been in this house. That tree's never fell. I know your family. That's why I'm willing to come over and get the tree out of there and give you some money toward the shed, but I can't pay $10,000 to get a tree moved. I don't have that. You don't have that. It was just the whole story that I thought, how can I work this into a book? It's the first thing I thought.
That's weird. I would expect that he would be responsible for it if it was his tree, but then fell into the neighbor's yard.
Yeah. According to his insurance company, he wasn't. So, so that was today. I came home and really haven't done much. I've done some computer programming with Claude. I'll get into that when I get into my Addicted To a little bit. We'll talk about that a little bit more. So that was pretty much my week. I did, again, instead of 3 days, I did 4 days. Counting last night. So we're working at it, and I got some stuff going on in the other room right now that I'll talk about. Actually, I'll talk about it right now. So one of the other things I was doing is I bought a desk very similar to this desk. It's a L-shaped stand up. It's got the memory so I can hit 1, 2, or 3, and it takes it to certain levels I've held. And I'm going to put it in the front. I'm going to not get rid of mine. My dad built me a writer's desk. I'm going to move the writer's desk right over here in this corner in the other room. And the biggest issue I have with writing right now, and it's the issue I've always had, is I can't write at home because I get distracted way too easily. Mm-hmm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that writer's desk, I'm going to move it over here in this corner, and it's only going to be for writing. I'll use my laptop with it. I'll get a monitor, my keyboard, mouse. And when I want to write, the only time I'll go sit over there is when I want to write. That's it.
Okay.
I'm not going to do. So that's going to become like my writer's corner. So maybe at lunch, or if I don't leave the house during winter for some reason, I can go over there and sit and still get things done. I think I can do it, actually. I honestly think I can do it. So I'm working on building the desk right now. And I was at my mom and dad's earlier. Told my dad, I'm like, I'm building this desk. And I'm like, I always put pieces on backwards. And my dad's like, read the instructions. I go, I do read the instructions. I still put pieces on backwards. I put the other 3 legs. I put 2 pieces of them on backwards. So I just turned them all around right before we started. I was sitting on the floor when you texted me and said you were live in the studio. I was literally sitting on the floor in there and like switching pieces around because I put them on backwards. And now my back hurts and I'm tired. Oh, I gotta get in better shape. So hopefully tomorrow I'll finish building that, and then this weekend I'll start moving things around so that I can kind of get my writing back in control when I'm working from home during the week. So.
Well, I sympathize with you being distracted when you're at home, because I have the same problem. In fact, I swear that if I was growing up right now, I would be diagnosed with ADHD. I am like,
Me too.
A shiny squirrel that always catches my attention, which is why I can't ever finish anything. And yeah, my wife has done her just recently. She just said, "Yeah, you're ADHD. I could tell." So, yeah, my week was kind of uneventful. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday I had off, so I was able to work some out in the garden. It was super duper hot. I did get some fence poles put in the ground and cemented in, but I tried to stay out of the heat as much as I could. So I just basically worked on that in the mornings. Came in during the afternoon. One of those weekend days, we cleaned up our bedroom, which had become a mess. We are both kind of like pack rats. We're not actually hoarders, but we just have a way of just leaving stuff sit there. And then Louisiana is one of the dustiest places I've ever lived. And I don't know if it's because your air handling is running all the time, so it's sucking stuff in from your attic or whatever. But yeah, you build up thick layers of dust. So we were clogging up vacuum cleaners by cleaning up underneath the bed and stuff like that.
You don't even have any pets, right?
No pets.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's not pet hair. Although it's funny, we haven't had a cat. Our last cat died. It must be at least 10 years ago. And every time I vacuum, or every time I shampoo the little bit of carpet that we do have in the living room, it's still pulling cat hair on. I don't think you ever actually get rid of a cat.
Yeah, it's like sand. You never really get rid of. There's always some piece of it somewhere.
Right. So that was the weekend, and then I've worked this whole week. I'll have to work tomorrow as well, so I'm on a 6-day streak here. Did some work, like I said, looking at some downtimes, looking at the old story, trying to get back into it, thinking about some changes I really need to make. So we'll be getting going on that going forward. Yesterday was my 38th anniversary, so which is why I didn't want to record. Tammy preferred we didn't, so we sat. I bought about an outrageous amount of lump crab meat and like $50 worth. Came home and cooked that up, and then I also because I went to the store hungry, which I should never do.
Nope.
I bought a huge fruit tart, and I also bought 4 canolas. So we had massive amounts of desserts as well. And then sat there in a stupor watching Death Valley. They're getting ready to drop the new season of it, so we wanted to go back and watch the old season, catch up with where everything is, which is what we've been doing on BritBox. When we see a month ahead that they're going to be dropping a new season, then we go back and we rewatch all the old episodes so we remember what's going on. And and that was it today. Today was not too busy at the library, but it's a day where there's only 2 people in the reference department. So I had to stay on desk the whole time. I did do some 3D printing, which was kind of fun. It's I don't know what it is. It's just something about being able to magically make something appear on a printer. It's in plastic, but still, it's kind of an amazing thing to do, and I still haven't gotten tired of doing it yet. So yeah, my week was very short on writing, very short on anything productive as far as creative side goes. I did listen to a lot of podcasts from the what's it called? Writers on Writing, which I really, really like. And I just realized it today. I've been listening to that show off and on now for a couple of years, probably. I've probably listened to about, I don't know, 20, 30 episodes, maybe more. They're long episodes. They're over an hour. They've got a huge backlog that I'm going to have to work my way through. But I suddenly realized, of all the people I've listened to and all the people they've interviewed, not one of them is actually making money from their writing. They may be making some, but they're not actually, it's not a full-time living. They're doing other things.
Is anyone really curious? I mean,
yeah, I
don't
think
anyone
so.
is.
I don't think so. We're going to talk a little bit about that later when we talk about what's going on in the AI world and how that might actually change the calculus going forward. We'll have to see. So yeah, that was basically my weekend review, and I've got nothing on the running list of future things to do other than to get back at that story and try to figure out exactly how I'm going to have my protagonist interact with the police. And what's the best way to bring the reader into that relationship so that it makes sense going forward? Because I kind of in the back of my head have like 2 or 3, at least a trilogy planned for this, and maybe longer. Although the more I think about it, the more I like the idea of just sticking with the trilogy unless something really catches fire at some point, and just do 3 books and then move on to something else. That's kind of more appealing to my squirrel brain than doing something as extended as you're doing with the 9-book series.
Mine is the same too. Yeah, my running this a future thing hasn't changed either. It's just a bunch of courses that I bought that I'll probably never watch. But you never know. I might get bored one day. Maybe I'll get tired of watching Perry Mason over and over again, and I'll throw Matthew J. Holmes or Dave Chesson up there on the screen, or Mark Dawson and James Blatch up there on the screen with their stuff, and we'll go from there. So in terms of my addicted to, so this is actually something I spend a lot of time doing. It's funny is I'll do it in the morning. Like I'll wake up at like 5:45 and know I don't have to start work until 7. I'm not going to shower until like 6:20. So for a half an hour, I'll just sit at my computer and do this. In the evening, like when I go in there to edit, right, the first thing I have to do is export this to get a full MP4 video, and it takes like 10 minutes to export. I'll open up VS Code and Claude and work on one of these websites, and because you just type do something and then you can just minimize it while it does it, so it's fantastic. Right. But I have 6 apps going right now, personal. These are all personal, that I've literally worked in the last 7 to 10 days. All 6 of them at some point have gotten some work in the last 7 to 10 days. And the one I can add in here that hasn't got work but's going to soon is my my 7-4 Press website, which will also get some work soon. Because I got some changes I want to make there. So the first one is a couple weeks ago, I decided to take the Excel spreadsheets from my golf league over the last 11 years. I've been keeping track of all the scores. And, I have 3 different spreadsheets I send out every week. One of them is skins, one of them is super skins, and the other one is the actual score sheets for the week. And there's like 8 or 9 tabs at the bottom that we update and all this stuff that moves around. There's all these formulas. And I zipped the whole thing up and I just gave it to Claude and said, I want you to build me a website where I can get the historical things for each player every year in this Excel. So I can see what I can click on a player's name and see everything they've done over the last 12 years or anytime they've golfed in the last 12 years. And it took some time, but boom, done. And there's a website. It needs formatted. It needs a lot of work. I want to make it eventually the website for the league that me and my buddy Jeff, who run the league, we do all the work. We can go in and just, instead of passing Excels around, we can just go into here, update it, and then just send the link out to everybody. So here's the link. It's been updated. Check it out. That kind of thing. And there's most of the guys in the league are older than me, so I'm not sure how much are going to want to do that. But I got to feel like they're going to want to do a website a lot more than opening Excel and going through the tabs.
Oh yeah, well, I'm sure. So is the website set up? Does it do SQL queries or what?
Yes, that's what I'm doing now. I talked about this earlier. I was using Supabase, which is you get a free one. You get 2 projects for free. So the Writers app uses one, and there's a lot of stuff in there. There's a lot of database tables in there, whatever. Then I have another app that's in here that I use for a fantasy football draft. It's called the Yorba, it's named after the city in California, Yorba Linda. It's been going on for like 45 years. I've been in it for like 16. Yeah, this will be my 17th year, I believe, in this league. And I've been trying to learn the tendencies of my league mates, and I've also been trying to learn what draft strategy works the best. So I fed it the data for the last 3 years last year and said, tell me what my guys are going to do, my league mates, how they're going to draft. Give me a website that I'll put the draft pick in that's made, and then whoever's up next, give me their tendency. What do they do? And also give me the tendency of the winners each year. What is the similar with the winners each year? How do they draft? What are they doing that I'm not doing? Because I don't win in that league very often. I can't figure out why. There's 9 of us. I feel like I play more fantasy than any of them, maybe all but one maybe. And I feel like I'm more knowledgeable than any of them. I watch more football than any of them, but I'm doing something wrong. I don't know what it is. So that's the other app. So that app was the other project in Supabase.
Okay.
And the problem with that is if you don't use Supabase for 7 days, it puts your app on hold. That drives me insane. So I'm looking at the web, but maybe I'll pay for it. So I look and I'm like, oh, it's okay. It's $25 a month and you can do unlimited apps. The problem is you can do unlimited apps, but every new app you do, every new project you do is another $10 a month. So you can add as many as you want, but you got to pay $10 for each project.
So what are you paying the $25 for?
I have no idea. No clue. Well, there's like backups and things like that in there. They don't pause you after 7 days. You know, they don't want people, and it kind of makes sense. They don't want people to just make an app and then never touch it again.
Right.
And it just takes up space in their stuff. It takes up resources. So that's why they do it.
Yeah.
So I went in over the weekend and said, I wonder what I have through ChemiCloud. Well, it turns out I have unlimited databases in ChemiCloud. So I said to Claude, move this Yorba draft app from Supabase, which you have the credentials for, to my ChemiCloud, which I'm giving you the credentials for, create exactly the same tables, data that's in there now, and then switch my app over so it uses that instead. And I just kind of sat back as it did it. It's going to put me out of a job, Rich, but I just sat back as it did it. And then when I was done, I'm now using my databases that I'm already paying for with my account through ChemiCloud.
Yo, this is totally similar to me using the 3D printer.
It's a blast.
Yeah, you're sitting back, you're just giving it a command and letting it go and watching it.
Oh, the thing, when I get to one of these things that I started working on Thursday, what's today? Friday? Wednesday night, I started working at it. It's already done. It's fantastic. So I have the Golf League app. I have my Yorba draft app. So I play my APBA football game, and there's an app that we use called Pro Football Helper. It's fantastic. You can literally go play by play. It gives you stats. You can do seasons on there, so it keeps all the season stats. It's great. Except the problem is the guy that wrote it unfortunately died a couple years ago. It's horrible. Oh, no. And so there's no updates to the program. Right. And there's no way to play, this 1949 season wasn't in there. I had to use Claude to create I said, Claude, he uses text files for everything. Here's a zipped up version. I want you to get 1949 in there so that I can use it with 1949. And it took some time, but it got it working. But I also like to update the app. There's changes I'd like to make to it. I'd like to see things in different forms. So I just went into Claude and said, VS Code, and said, okay, I'm starting a new program. It's going to be my APBA football app, my play-by-play app. And I'm in the middle of creating that. It's open in the other room right now because I was working on it earlier. Then I have my author website, my 74press.com. They're both in there. And not to mention my writers app. So that's 6. The 7th one is one that I thought, I have a fantasy football draft Sunday night. I'm so excited. It's an auction. I've been in the league for 26 years. I created the league. Me and another guy created the league. There's 4 of us from the original 1999 that are still in it. It's a blast. But the problem is that we do it all in person. We don't have a computer program that does it during the draft. So somebody's got to keep track of the rosters. It's an auction, so you keep track of how much people bought, right? You spent how much they have left. We always have to pause every half an hour or so to make sure the money's right. And I'm like, I'm just going to write an app where I have an admin on my laptop in front of me that I use anyway for my draft. And then I can put players in. And then over there on a big TV will be the draft board. And as I'm putting players in, it just updates every 4 seconds. That website reloads. And now you have the running rosters for everyone. You have the order of picks. You have how much everybody spent and how much they have left. Like, it's brilliant.
It's like magic.
It's yes. And I started it Wednesday night. I worked on it a little bit last night, and I worked on it a little bit after I got back from lunch this morning. This afternoon. It's done. Like, I'm finished. Wow. And I emailed the guy whose house we're going to and said, Mike, do you have a big TV you can put outside? I wrote an app. And he's like, yep, I do. And so now I'm just going to take a second laptop, probably this one right here that I'm recording on, and plug it into that monitor, and I'll just have the draft board up full screen, and it'll just be running and updating every 4 seconds. When we start the draft, every time somebody picks a player, I pick the player, the team that got it, and put the cost in and hit submit, and now that updates over there. And again, database driven, so it's all saved because next year I want to use it myself. I want Claude to analyze the tendencies of the people in that league. So I get an idea of how they draft. So when I'm drafting against them, I know how high do I need to go to if I'm drafting against this guy head to head. How high do I need to go here? So over the years, I'll get some nice data out of it too.
Yeah. So in other words, you're just like all the tech bros who are harvesting data. And
then
turn it against her.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, that's the plan. Absolutely. So this has been my addiction over the last, well, it's been my addiction for a while, but over the last 7 to 10 days, I've literally been inside 6 different programs using Claude to code these things. They're all hosted on my website, jerryevans.com/, and then there's a folder. Like, you know, I've said, if you guys want to get involved in the writers app, email me and I'll send you an invite link. It's literally jerryevans.com/writing app or something like that. I don't even remember. Writing app. Yeah. So like, it's all there. So I'm only paying for one hosting. I'm just putting all these little programs and subfolders in my jerryevans.com site. So it's been a blast. I mean, I love it. I am having so much. I told my new boss 2 weeks ago that I hope when we move over to him, he gets us credits to use AI, because I know it's going to take my job, but I haven't had this much fun programming. I don't even know, since I started, I don't even know when. Like, this is my 30th year doing it professionally, and probably my 40th year, maybe my 44th year doing it just personally, because I started programming at like 10 years old. I was writing BASIC on a Commodore VIC 20. I was writing I was writing my own BASIC code. I was writing loops and go-tos and for loops, whatever they were called back then, and go subs and all these different things, print screens and all these different things. And this is the most fun I've had because of how fast I can do it and how much I can make it look the way I want it to look, right? I can't do that by hand as quickly. I can do it, but not as near as quick. So
not as quickly, and probably not as bug free either.
100%, and not as secure.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So it's been a blast. And I'm going to keep going. It's been so much fun.
Well, my addicted to seems pretty pedestrian next to yours. For some reason, we've got huge sales of the last week on mangoes, and there's nothing Tammy and I like better than mangoes. They're selling for 50 cents. They're huge mangoes, and we've just been stuffing our faces with mango every single day. I get up in the morning, make us a mango smoothie for breakfast, and then we have mango, cut up mango for dessert at night.
I've never had a mango.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I have no idea what they taste like. There's a Seinfeld episode called The Mango that they make it look fun. But I mean, are they like, I love peaches. Are they like peaches?
Taste is completely different. It's more
like, get one.
It's a tropical fruit. Kind of subtropical fruit. So if the taste is unique, but it's more along the lines of like a papaya or a guava or something like that. In terms of what the meat and everything on the inside is like. And
I'm buying mango. Oh, wait a minute. Are these... Okay, wait. Are these what you would get when you get like a little fruit cocktail that has like, not the syrupy ones in the cans, but like you might get it like a Chick-fil-A might give you a fruit cup. Are there mangoes in there? Because they look like that.
Very orange. They'd be very orange colored. Yeah.
Maybe I have had these before and don't even know. Because I don't like cantaloupe, or what's the green one?
Honeydew.
I don't like those.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe I'll order these with my... I mean, do you think Walmart mangoes would be good? Is it like airport seafood?
That's where we buy them.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. Now, the trick is what you do is you have to leave them on the counter and wait until they're squishy.
Okay.
Not super squishy, but wait until when you press on them, they give. Because if you... Usually, especially at Walmart, they get everything in bulk. And the things are picked kind of semi-green. And the big mistake we made early on was when we started eating these, and this may be 40 years ago now, is we tried to eat them just after we bought them. And they taste like pine if you eat them when they're young, when they're not ripe. So you just gotta but they do ripen on the counter. So you just let them sit there until they get squishy and then eat them.
All right, the big problem here is as I'm searching mango on Walmart, I scroll down to the third row and there's an ad for ice cream sandwiches. And now I kind of want those instead.
Yeah, that's the problem with Walmart.
So hang on, I'm going to add some mango to my cart and ice cream sandwiches to my cart. Okay.
Yeah. The only thing about mangoes is it has a very big pit in it. And so it's a little bit of a trick to get that pit out of there and then to eat it. Eat the fruit. But there's a couple different ways. In fact, there was an episode of Poirot where he's at an Egyptologist's house for Christmas, and he actually demonstrates to the guy how to eat a mango.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. Demonstrates to the guy how to pit and eat a mango.
I do remember. That's not the Hercule Poirot's Christmas. That's the one where he shows up. Isn't that the one where he shows up at Jap's families to get Jap and take him somewhere?
No.
Oh man,
no.
I forget what that episode is called, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah. That's great.
This is one where it starts off by him being in the chocolatier shop buying himself, and then he gets picked up by some burly guys, forced into a car, and they take him to like
the Ruby. That's the Ruby one where it's like the foreign the foreign guy wants his jewelry back, and Poirot hates the guy.
Right.
But he does it anyway. Okay, I do remember this one. Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah.
So anyways, you could watch that episode again and find out how to eat a mango.
I may watch it tonight now. Yeah. It's like the Case of the Royal Ruby, I think it's called. Yeah. So all right, well, looking at this week for me, tomorrow morning I'm playing golf. Me and my buddy Jeff are playing at 6:56 a.m. Just two of us. Should be home by 11 or so, maybe 10:30 to 11. The Browns play their first preseason game at 1, but I'm going to go right and I'll record the game. And then when I get home, I'll turn it on from the start. I think I'll watch most of it, though, because I want to see both the quarterbacks, the one I can't stand and the one that's not very good.
I hear Watson's going to get the start, right?
Yeah, he's terrible. And then Shador is just he's not an NFL quarterback. It's sad, but it's true. But it's okay. It's okay. And then I have this desk. I'm going to continue to put together this desk tomorrow after I get back in writing. And then I have my first, my next 1949 game set out in front of me. It is actually the Browns and the Bills. I'm excited to play this. And I'll continue doing that on Saturday, Sunday. So I don't have golf on Sunday. I purposely did not make a tee time because we have a fantasy draft in the evening. So I wanted to have some time to write and not be rushed to golf and then write and then get home and have to leave again. So I decided not to golf. I've been golfing by myself anyway. So in the morning I'll wake up and we actually have an installation at work that we're doing, an upgrade at work, but I don't really have anything in that installation that I worked on. It's more of some of our other apps. So I was told I don't need to show up, but I did tell them if you guys need me, text me, I'll log in. I'll be home until about 10:30. I think they're starting at 8. I'll be home around 10:30. So if they do need me, I'll log in. I doubt they will, but just in case, I'll be home for it. And then at 10:30, I'll go go ahead.
I was going to say, so this company that bought, you're part of the old company, they bought all the programs and everything too, eh?
Yeah.
All the assets.
But it's they did, but we have to transition everything from the old company's systems to the new company's systems, and that's going to take some time. So we're still doing everything on the old company's system right now, and they're slowly moving things over. And at some point they'll flip the switch and we'll be all in the new company, but it's going to take 3 months, maybe even longer. Who knows? So I'll go somewhere at 10:30. I'll drop Max off, and then I'll go like to Buffalo Wild Wing or Hothead or something, and I'll continue the editing. And then when I get home, I'll probably continue playing the 1949 game. And around 5, I'll leave for the draft. I'm very excited about this. It's the auction that me and another guy created back in 1999. We were sitting in an off-track betting place in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, and we were just betting on horses. And we were sitting there's an auditorium in there. Usually you can sit at your own table in a restaurant, but there's an auditorium section. I remember we were sitting in the auditorium watching the big screens with all of our betting tickets. And we just started talking about a new fantasy football league, something that was different, something that we hadn't seen before. And this is year 27 of that league. And again, he's not in it anymore, but there are still 4 of us from the first year that are still in it. I used to run it about 7 or 8 years ago. I said, I'm not running this anymore. It's too much work. If we want to continue, somebody else has to. So somebody else is. So one of the original 4 is now the guy who runs it, which is good. So, and it's an auction. I love auctions. Live auctions are so much fun. So that'll be Sunday night. I won't get home till late because of it. Nothing really exciting next week. It's just basically going to be working from home every day. I'm going to try to get some of the editing going during my lunch break, something I haven't done in a month. Monday, I work from home. Tuesday, I work from home at my golf league. We have 2 weeks left, and then I'll be home every night after that. Wednesday, I'll be working from home. I do have a call with Fidelity at 11 a.m. to talk about what to do with the money from the previous job. I'm really going to ask them, hey, I owe $36,000 on my house. I'm be like, hey, can I take $36,000 off of that? And what's the penalty? How bad is it? So I can pay my house off. And if it's not much of a penalty, I may do it. We'll find out. take their advice, then I'll make a decision. Most likely I won't, because it's going to be too much of a penalty that I don't want to deal with. But if it's not that bad, if it's 10% or less, I may do it. And then he'll tell me, well, by doing that, you're going to lose all the interest you're going to gain over the next X amount of years. You're going to lose out on thousands of more dollars.
Right.
And I'll say, yeah, but I can start putting like 20%, 25% in instead of 15. And so we'll see what he says. I mean, in the end, I already know what the decision is going to be. And that's, don't do it and just keep paying your house off every month until it's paid off, because you'll lose so much money. But I'm still going to talk to him about it and see what the options are.
So how old are you?
52.
Oh yeah, no, you're way away from the point of being able to.
I think 59 and a half is when you can start drawing on it. Right. And I've said before, I don't need a lot of money. If my house is paid off, and let's say I'm living somewhere else and I do have a house payment, well, obviously I need more money. I don't want to have a house payment though.
Right.
So I don't really need a lot of money though. I need to be able to golf and eat and pay whatever little bills I have. But my house is my only debt. That's all I have left. So if I have no debt, then I don't need a lot. So every year I'm going to be asking Fidelity, okay, how much do I get this year if I retire? And at some point there's going to be a number and I'm going to go, that'll work. I don't need a lot of money. That'll work. And I'll retire, because I don't want to work anymore. I hope nobody listens to this from the new job. I don't want to work anymore, Rich. I don't like it. I don't want to do it anymore. I love my job and they pay me a lot of money to do stuff I love to do, but I don't really want to. I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah. That I reached that point in 2015. Of course, now I'm back to work, but it's I understand completely.
Yeah. So that's Wednesday, and then Thursday I'm working from home. And again, I'll try to do some work during these lunches. We should be able to podcast on Thursday. The goal, I'm through chapter 4. The goal is to get through chapter 7. I should be able to get farther than that, but the goal is to get through chapter 7 with the editing. I didn't write it on here, but I'm also going to try to submit this to BookBub, this book 1 to BookBub. But I need to sit down and look at the calendar and make sure it makes sense to submit it now, or maybe I wait a month, or maybe I wait a week. I got to figure out how I can do this to coincide November 24th when book 3 does come out. So
my coming week, I work 5 of the next 6 days. So the only day I have off between now and next Thursday is Sunday, which I probably won't be doing anything on Sunday, but sleeping. That's usually when I'm in the stretch of working a lot. I just take a nap on Sundays. I hope to be able to get back to the editing of that The Dark We Hide, and try to work on some of those first couple of chapters, see if I can ease into the relationship between the protagonist and the police. I do have 2 weeks from this coming Sunday, I've got a bingo that I'm running at the library. And so I got to start getting my ducks in a row for that, which is basically rummaging around through the closets and stuff and trying to find things to use as prizes. Our outreach program for the library is just always sending us stuff to use for outreach, like power bricks, for recharging phones and all that kind of garbage. So get some of that together. So because when I run a bingo, I can usually expect anywhere from 120 to 140 people. So there's going to be quite a few people there. So I need quite a few prizes. I want everybody to go away happy.
Your library has a room that big?
Yeah, well, we've got 3 meeting rooms, and if you the walls, fold up in between them. So yeah, we can fit 150 people.
Yeah, ours doesn't have that. It can't. We don't have a room that big. So good for you.
Yeah. Well, we're a regional branch. We are the second largest branch building. We've got us. We've got one other regional branch, which is really close to my house here, and then the main library is like a 3-story building. So that one's big. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to try to nip and tuck at the editing. Try to get through work without falling asleep. Today was so slow today that I was literally getting up out of my seat every 5 minutes because I was falling asleep. I would feel my head go like that.
Yeah,
I had to get up and do some moving around. Yeah, so that's going to be my week. And I may think a little bit more about what's going on in the world of AI. You probably saw, and maybe other people have heard, this past week, Anthropic has decided that they're going to start watermarking all the output files that they generate. They're going to start with the new Claude version that's coming out, but then they're going to go back into all the old versions and do it as well. And I don't know if it's because of the rousing clapping they heard or what, but all the other major AI companies, Meta, Anthropic, not Anthropic, OpenAI, and a couple of the other ones have said, yeah, we're going to follow suit. We're going to do the same thing. This is going to be really interesting. I can't wait. Number one, I can't wait to see what James Blatch has to say about this. He is going to go absolutely ballistic, I think, on this. What this is going to do, I mean, just thinking about it. Number one, I don't understand how the technology works at all. Supposedly, you can't get rid of the watermark by editing the files that they send. So the only way I can, my limited understanding about how encryption stuff works, the only way I can imagine that this would work is that somehow in every character they return, there's part of a code that put together over the entire file makes some kind of a signature that they can read. I
have no idea. I have no clue at all. I have no idea how they would do it. In my head, I'm like, what if I go in and say to ChatGPT, give me an email that I can send to my coworker about this, 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 and this, and it gives me an email. And I copy and paste it, the watermark's there. But what if I just line it up next to my monitor and just retype it myself, word for word?
Yeah. Actually, that would probably work. That would get rid of it.
Yeah. And I'm not going to do this when I'm coding. AI makes the changes itself in the code. I don't make any changes.
No. Well, see, and they're not aiming. I don't know who they're really aiming this. Well,
I'm trying to figure out what the purpose is.
I do know who they're aiming this at. They're aiming it at Brussels.
What is Brussels?
The European Union has mandated that all AI output has to be distinguishable from human-generated output.
Yeah.
Human-generated text. So there's got to be a way for people to be able to identify what is machine-generated and what is not machine-generated. And that's the thing they're working at. They're working towards, and the reason why they're doing this. I don't think it's going to matter for the vast majority of business applications of AI. Copywriting, email help, coding, all that kind of stuff. Where it's going to hit hard is it's going to hit the authors who are trying to use AI to generate books, because this is going to give Amazon, especially, the tool to be able to tell what's AI generated and what's not. And the people who are using AI and generating the quote unquote AI slop, I don't know. I don't really pay attention to who's doing what. They, in order for their business model to work, they can't go in and retype by hand.
Right.
Everything that. Now, there's other ways you could do it. I mean, you could you could set up a system where the machine, your machine reads the text that AI has generated and then retypes it itself. I mean, that's just essentially what happens in text, in speech to text. So there are going to be ways of getting around it. We'll see what happens going forward.
The hackers and the bad guys are always ahead of the people trying to stop them.
Right.
I mean, it's how it works. That's unfortunately how it works. But
I just found it interesting that they were able to come up with some kind of a scheme to do this, when for years now they've been saying they can't do it. And number two, I wonder if they've already done it. I wonder if because they say we're going to go back and retrofit the old models. What company in their right mind is going to spend resources on doing that on old deprecated models?
Right.
It's probably already in there. They just haven't told anybody, and now they're telling people.
So if you go to ChatGPT, you ask it to do something for you, you copy that out and then paste it into whatever you're pasting into, the watermark goes with it.
Supposedly.
Oh, okay. That's how it works. Okay.
Yeah.
I have to look into this a little bit. I find it very interesting. I think when you texted me about this a couple of days ago, I think my question to you was, so the AI companies are trying to get people to stop using them.
Yeah.
But now that you say Brussels is it was a law basically, I can understand. But it's a weird question. Do they have to follow the law?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the thing about the European Union is that they have no trouble levying billion-dollar fines against tech companies. So, unlike the United States, where we pussyfoot around with the tech pros, they have very little tolerance, and they've been able to collect. Microsoft has been a big contributor to European Union's budget over the years.
Yeah. And I did see somewhere a couple of countries over there where social media was banned for kids under a certain age.
Oh yeah, they've already started. Yeah, that's in fact that may one day come here as well. But
yeah, it should. It's good.
Yeah.
It should.
Yeah,
It should.
most European countries, and the one you've probably seen in the news is the UK. UK is doing
Okay.
right
Yeah.
now. It's
I'm not a guy who will say censorship very often. Like in my opinion, there should be no censorship at all, except I'm going to now sound like a hypocrite when I say, yeah, I think kids under 16 should, or maybe under 15 or 12 or whatever it is, should probably stay away from social media.
I think
it's terrible for you.
Just off the top of my head, I'm thinking the age limit they've chosen is either 14 or 15, something like that.
Yeah. So you're right. Maybe they over there they have less tolerance for that kind of thing than we do over here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about it, by the way. I don't know if I'm like, yeah, good, let's get those people that are using AI. But is it really wrong? Like, should we get them? I don't know. I mean, I don't really think it's wrong.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm kind of. I don't know if I'm ambivalent. They probably need to do something, irrespective of the EU regulations. Companies like Amazon and other publishers, they need some way in which to figure out how to get the low quality stuff out of the pipeline. But I don't know that this is necessarily going to.
I feel like the way to do that is what's the word I'm looking for? Is it Darwinism that I'm looking for?
Well, yeah,
where
the market.
The lawyer who goes into the courtroom with the fake case that ChatGPT made up says it and gets punished or fired or whatever. That's how you get rid of it right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You use it responsibly.
And that essentially the market will do that with like books as well. Mm-hmm. The problem is that that I read anyways, the problem is that the actual mechanics of the publishing system is so antiquated relative to the volume that's being generated that they can't handle what's going on right now.
But let's say somebody wrote a book with AI, spent some time editing it, like literally spent a lot of time making it into what they think is a good story. You read it not knowing that it's AI and enjoy it. Does it really matter?
Right. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I mean,
anyway.
The future belongs to the robots anyways.
Oh, absolutely. We are, I do everything I can with Claude when I'm programming to like compliment it, stay on its good side. I don't like to yell at it. I stay on its good side because I want to be moving farther and farther down the list when it finally does gain the human, the robot form with big guns and comes after me. So I want it to be like, he was nice to us. We'll wait on him. So, yeah. So, okay.
Kind of related to that. And this is getting really woo here, but
oh gosh,
I was reading a couple of articles. These are philosophy articles where there's a branch of philosophy developing that is related to the search for consciousness.
Yeah,
it's a mystery right now what leads to human consciousness, because they've been unable to identify any biological origin for it, even though they've looked and looked and looked for decades now. There is a branch of philosophy developing that's saying consciousness, that the root mechanics of consciousness is actually part of reality, and it's in everything. Consciousness is like everywhere, and the humans have just developed a way in which to tap into it and to take a part of that and develop what looks like something that's happening inside a person, but it's actually happening all over the place in reality.
Rich, are these people, I'm just curious, are these people wearing robes and carrying lightsabers and calling themselves Jedis? Because you're describing the Force.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
George Lucas is the new, who's the guy that did Scientology? George Lucas is the new him, apparently.
L. Ron Hubbard.
Yeah.
But the thing that I found interesting all of this is that the first thing people say is, well, so that essentially means that that robots or machines, if this is true, can never achieve sentience, because they don't have the biological, whatever it is in our head that allows us to tap into this. They don't have that, and
that scares me more. Because I feel like if you can get sentience, you can realize it's wrong to murder humans. But if you're a robot who's just programmed to do it,
that's true.
that could scare me a little bit more.
Yeah, we don't have any. What are they? The Asimov's 3 laws of robotics. We don't have that. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know what those are, but I'm going to agree with you as if I understand what you're talking about. I don't know what those are. They're
essentially, I mean, when you boil it right down, is don't harm humans.
Okay. Yeah, Asimov's. I type ASI into Google and it just gives me Asimov's 3 laws of robotics as if it's listening to me.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Which is also spooky because it probably is.
It probably is. Yes, a robot may not injure a human being or through an action allow a human being to become harm. A robot must obey the orders given it by human beings, except where such orders would conflict with the first law. A robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law. It's a good thing there's not a fourth one because it would say doesn't conflict with the first, second, or third law.
Right.
Jesus, Asimov. Wordy. Okay, that's your
actually. When I first ran across those robot books by Asimov, and I saw those 3 laws, I thought that was really clever of him. To come up with that. So,
yeah.
But of course, we've completely ignored that with the development of robots and stuff.
Yes, absolutely. So
that's it for me.
That is it for me. Also, I have nothing to share. So if you want to that's going to be the end of the podcast for this week. I told you we'd be short. Yeah, we went longer than we usually do.
Yeah.
If you want to get in touch with me, you can email me, jerry@jerryevanoff.com. And again, if you want to use my writer's app, if you want to kind of beta test it for me, email me, jerry@jerryevanoff.com. I'll send you an invite and you can get in there and play around. Make suggestions. I'm always looking for people that are like thinking different from me to use it. That way I can understand what other things need to be put into it that I don't really know about or use. So jerry@jerryevanoff.com. The website is jerryevanoff.com. And that's all I have for now. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, you can find me on Substack at richcasey.substack.com.
All right, everyone. That's going to be it for this week. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you all in 6 days.
Yeah, have a good week, and stay out of the sun if you live in the South.